All right. Dirty Sports episode 889. We are live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Happy COVID Friday, Joey.
Oh, my God. 3 years, no COVID. I mean, we're coming up on almost 3 years ago, COVID hit. Did the math. I think it's like been 995 days or whatever since Rudy Gobert touched all the microphones. No COVID for me. Omicron performing in sold out basements in New York City. Eddie Ift having COVID in a car. And then, as I said on my Instagram post where I announced my COVID positivity, 4 days in Texas. That's all you need. I joked so many times on stage there that like they didn't even deal with COVID. Like they never thought about fucking getting vaccinated or whatever. And they were all like, it's so true. So true.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to counter that. I'm going to say I know just as many people who've gotten COVID who are vaccinated. So
no, I mean, I agree. I think, I think it's a double. I think it's a two. Takes two to tango, as they say, Andy. I think you absolutely have a less chance of getting it if you're around other vaccinated people, as opposed to if you're not. It's just like being in the Jerry Dome, 100,000. Walmart shopping, Buffalo Wild Wings eating unvaxxed people.
But you know what? I'll be honest. I don't know what to believe anymore at this point. As far as the chances to reduce, one of my brothers has tested positive, and he is vaxxed to the 10th degree, right? And I was with him all Saturday night. That's my point. I don't have it. None of my other brothers have it. It's a weird disease like that. I know you want to just shit on Texas. And that's good because people have called to defend Texas.
Well, I got to say, let me just say this. I got a lot of DMs and it's sort of like, I'm not surprised that the callers have one angle and the DMs have another, but every single person who DM'd me, I would say almost all of them, either I'm from Texas or I live in Texas, and you're absolutely right. Spot on. You nailed it about Texas. And I was like, oh, thank you. It's glad to hear from people who are actually there or who have some history with Texas agreeing with me.
I think I'm Team Texas overall. I think I'm Team Texas.
Yeah, you also live in Cincinnati, Ohio. You don't mind going out to an Applebee's from time to time.
See, I knew you're going to do that. But as someone like myself,
you lived in Venice Beach. You avoided Abercrombie. You only shopped at Costco. Like, listen. You're a Midwesterner at heart. You like your big box stores. You like your corporate restaurants,
Well, first of all, I avoided Abercrombie because it was too bougie. Did I go to Costco all the time? Yes. But it's not like I was posting up shop at, I don't know that, I wasn't going to Chick-fil-A when I lived in Venice.
Right.
I wasn't going to now did I occasionally hit up a little T-Bizzle, a little Taco Bell? Yeah. Here's the thing with me in Texas. I think it's a big state. There's a lot that, like, you didn't even mention San Antonio. I think San Antonio is a great city.
I've actually never been to San Antonio.
The Riverwalk. I mean, I think.
Is it safe to say the Riverwalk has an Olive Garden on it?
It might.
Yeah, probably does. It's like the Riverwalk. I'm certain that the Riverwalk itself, the walking of the river, immaculate. Also, never being to San Antonio and knowing nothing about it, never even Googling it. I have a feeling that Riverwalk is lined with corporate buffoonery.
I don't remember. I haven't been there in like 20 plus years. I just know Charles Barkley is not a fan of the women of San Antonio.
Okay, good to know.
I don't know if you've seen that. He has been calling them fat and large for years. I think finally actually, I don't know when's the last time he said that, but like he's been able to get away with that one for a long time in this culture that would not allow those sort of things.
Fat shaming.
Yes. I don't even know anymore. Everything is shaming. So look, I can play a call. These ones aren't actually that bad. These aren't like, hey, fuck you, I'm from Texas. Yeah. Like it's not that.
Well, I know that they're not that because those people that's my entire point. Those people don't actually exist. There's no yeehaw fucking Texans. They're just like fucking corporate big box store chain restaurant eating.
What about Amarillo? I feel like
Amarillo was a fun town.
I know, but I mean, as far as like the cowboy type of vibe. I mean, the big Texan where we did the 72-ounce steak contest, you know, that kind of, now granted, those guys weren't like that, the owners, you know. I don't know. Let's hop into a call or two. Let's just see.
Great. As I lay here in bed with my Texas-sized COVID, I'll listen to people defend Texas. Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. Well, this one's a long one. Let's start off with a shorter one.
What's up, boys? It's your number one Austin Dirtball KT coming at you just to follow up on Joe's, what he was saying about Texas last episode. He's saying Texas is actually the worst state ever, blah, blah, blah. My man was at the worst part of Texas. I'm pretty new to Texas over here in Austin, but so unique. We got so much shit over here. Like every single bar is different. I don't really see any chains where I'm at here in Austin, but I met some cowboy out here who was talking about Dallas, and he was saying he lived there for 5 years, and he makes friends everywhere he goes, and for the 5 years he was there, he didn't make a single friend. Just goes to show, like, Dallas is shit, man, and you should come do a show in Austin. So condoms, let's talk about condoms. They are for Joe not acknowledging that he has to do 24 hours in IKEA. Like, what's good with the bets if Joe's not going to pay up? Come on, man. Let's do it. The dirtballs are waiting.
A
little shade there at the end for you.
All right. Well, I'm going to take this in order. First of all, you and I went. I've been to Austin many times in my life. You and I went. How many times in a row? How many years in a row did we go to Austin in October to do comedy? 2-3 years in a row?
Yeah, 2 or 3 years in a row we went.
I've been to Austin a dozen times. Austin's
great.
Also, if you fucking hang around Texans, they shit on Austin. The rest of the country.
But again, who is that? Because I would argue that like Austin's the capital. It's a big city. Like they're not people who are. So there's millions of people in Greater Austin. They're not shitting on it. That's a lot of people.
If you go, no, I know, but I'm saying if you go around Texas, there's a lot of, and the Texan, they almost feel like Austin isn't like the way it's their blue enclave, whatever. Like the majority of Texas is red corporate buffoonery. Now, the fact that we have this like one outlier place, yeah. So you're telling me the reason Texas is great is because there's one place in Texas that doesn't feel like Texas?
Well, look,
I like Austin. I said that in my intro.
I agree about Dallas Fort Worth. I'm not a fan. I've been there a bunch too. I mean, there's only so many times. We all know every time I go there, I go to the spot where JFK was assassinated. Like there's only so many times you can see that. And I've seen it every time I've gone there. I'm not the biggest fan of Dallas Fort Worth. I also know we didn't spend enough time in Houston. You know, that's why I brought up the beach towns. I was like, if you've been to South Padre Island, have you been on the Gulf Coast? It's beautiful. You know, my point is Texas, to play devil's advocate, there's such a geographic diversity is all I'm saying. Like people forget, holy shit, there's like a big mountain range in West Texas. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I know what you're saying about Dallas Fort Worth.
But it just feels like even when we drove from New Mexico to Amarillo to Dallas to Houston, we did the whole thing. My point is, sure, in between there's little fucking pockets, but for the majority, I would say the majority of Texas, like people go, oh, Dallas Fort, yeah, that's Dallas Fort Worth. I would say the majority of Texas looks like Dallas Fort Worth.
Well, now I think you said you've done the same thing. I've driven east to west as well. That was more of a north to south drive. So like California is beautiful, right? Like California is by far the best state geographically in the entire country. I would argue like you could put California up there in the world. There's also shitty parts of California. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying?
There's shitty parts of everywhere.
For sure.
My point is, if you're in, I don't know, New York City, and you want to drive to Albany, for example, the capital of New York, you're going to go through a lot of little fucking towns, a lot of little, village greens and home stores and like mom and pop shops and whatever. And yeah, every once in a while, you're going to get a mall. All of Texas just feels like a goddamn strip mall.
I gotcha, and I think that's fair.
And honestly, if you're in LA, if you're in the Valley, it feels like that sometimes too.
For sure. So,
also, let's take this in order. Second of all, I actually brought up me doing the IKEA bet recently and said I was going to get it done. In that same conversation, I pointed out that actually Andy owes us one before that. So if you're going to come with condoms or for not refilling your bets, go for the guy who owes the original one, and then we'll get to the next one, and then we'll get to the current one.
Well, it's a little convoluted. I because of the L chain, was punished to a women's study class with a paper that I had to submit. So that was actually after the season, I believe. I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. You and I each have an outstanding bet, is what we're getting to. So,
and I just talked recently about doing the IKEA one.
Yeah, I'm not too worried personally. Like the bets will be settled. I understand there's anxiousness on how long some of these are taking, and that's fair. But the bets will be settled. They're always settled. So don't worry about that. Everything's going to work out in that regard.
But thanks for your call about how the place in Texas that's not like Texas makes Texas great. I agree.
Well, and then we have a call. He left a bunch of calls. Let's see how many we can get through this. I believe he was at your show, this guy.
Hey, Joe and Andy. This is Tyler, out in Dallas, Texas. I just wanted to comment on Joe's Texas takes. I think they're a little unfair. Like y'all said, I think Austin has a lot of good personality to it, a lot of soul. And I think it's pretty well liked in Texas. I mean, of course, you have your older generation that might, and far right people might not like Austin for the liberal parts of it. But every big city has its liberal parts, and so I think Austin's very well liked for the soul and the food and everything. And even Dallas is super corporate, and Plano, Frisco, like those areas are super corporate, strip mall-y, that kind of vibe. But there's areas around Dallas that have a lot of soul, a lot of culture, a lot of fun places like Fort Worth, Denton, and yeah, those are a couple big ones that come like to my mind, like just fun. Oh, Grand Prairie, like just a couple fun areas to go to concerts, eat some good food, and have some fun nightlife. But I thought it was a little unfair to deem it as a terrible state as a whole. Also, Houston has a lot of great spots. San Antonio is underrated. El Paso, not much to talk about that. El Paso is kind of meh. But yeah, downtown Dallas, Plano, Frisco, they're pretty corporate, and I could see you thinking that for sure. Another thing I just wanted to bring up, I know Joe knows about it, but freaking Allen crashing into that table, breaking the table. I'm dead. I've been trying to contact the Comedy House to get us footage of that because
So he goes on, the call runs out, and he goes on. He keeps talking about this Allen running into the table during your show.
Yeah, it was after the show. We were all hanging out in the bar, and I don't know if he leaned on a table or walked in the table, but the whole tabletop just came off, like it came undone from the legs, and the club was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And like, he's just standing there holding the top of the table. Oh, what do you want to do with this? Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like you did a terrible job defending Texas in that. You're like, yeah, it's pretty corporate. He's right. Austin's cool. Some other, like, you didn't really defend it.
I just feel like the thing about Texas and like, listen, I know I went on a rant about how, but it seems like the thing is Texas is sort of a reverse of most. And listen, there's a lot of states that are like this. And you know, to be fair, yeah, maybe I'm a coastal elite who likes the things that I like, but the pockets in, like, don't tell me about the pockets inside your corporate wasteland, because that's kind of proving my point. What I'm saying is most places have like a soul, and then they have this big area. Every place, you know, like when I was growing up, you went down to White Plains to go to the mall where there was all the corporate office buildings and whatever. It's like, it feels like it's a reverse in Texas. You have to go hunting for a place to get a cup of coffee instead of being like, we got to get in the car and go to the mall.
Well, you know what the big thing is?
You got in the car and went to the mall. If you're in Texas, you're at the mall. You live at the mall. You're going to have to get a map and a magnifying glass and go find a place to get a cup of coffee that wasn't served fucking at Starbucks. I
like to judge places now. Are there good bike trails? Like, I know it might sound ridiculous.
I don't think outside of Austin there is a bike in Texas.
But that's my point. Like, are there areas where I can go on a bike or a run through some sort of nature that are extended through large paths? Does that make sense? Like, if you don't have that, like, then your place kind of sucks, in my opinion. Like, if there's no scenic beauty, if I can't enjoy a body of water or whatever, ocean, lake, river, if you don't have that, I know I've never been a big fan of downtown Dallas being there. You know, like what's to it? Again, every time I've gone there, it's like, how many times am I going to stand on the X where JFK was shot? Like, how many times am I going to do that? I heard Kanye is moving to Texas. Is this true?
Did you really hear that?
No.
How
about Chris Paul taking just some serious shrapnel? Just minding his own business, playing basketball, and he is suddenly accused of banging Kim Kardashian. And literally, Kanye's gone from Twitter.
You've been so like, I'm going to play the devil's advocate lately on everything. I thought for sure you're going to be like, listen, we got to hear Kanye out.
He's lost his mind, man.
I think the best part of the Kanye thing was he was on a show where the host ended up costing himself in the hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, because he said Sandy Hook was fake and refused to back down for years. And then Kanye was saying shit, and he was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
It's wild, dude.
Whoa.
It's wild.
He was like, Nazis are good people. He's like, can we just hold on? We're going to have to take a break here.
It is wild. Of all the people who's like, yo, tap the brakes, Alex Jones. It's sad. Like, I don't know any other way to put it. Like, we're just witnessing a complete and utter meltdown. I know people are going to say, oh, it's more than, like, it's just, I don't even know how to describe it. The irony is, I guess the last song I was listening to in my car was Jesus Walks last night. This is before, or maybe this had already happened. I wasn't on Twitter yesterday, really. And then when I got in my car today, it came right back on. And it was like the first thing I thought was like, oh, this guy likes Nazis. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It was kind of like after I watched the Michael Jackson documentary.
I've been doing the joke on stage. It's like, none of this should surprise anybody, right? Like, Kanye kind of told us how this was all going to happen. He put out an album called Yeezus. He has a literal Jesus Christ complex. And now he's getting crucified by the Jews. So, you know, he told us how this story ends.
That is pretty funny. That's a good bit. So I do want to know, here's the thing about the Kim K, Chris Paul thing, to bring it back to something sports related. Of course, they're all denying it. I went to the best source for this, as we know, TMZ.
Wait, what? How is this is where you went of all the people to say that? You're not going to go.
But hold on. What I love,
Black Sports Online. What's with your boy?
Oh, I haven't gone to Black Sports Online, but
this is your man. This is right up his alley.
You're right. I did see a tweet today from @rap. There's a Twitter feed @rap. So I did not know about this photo. The photo is resurfacing of Drake and his friends wearing Chris Paul jerseys, 3 different Chris Paul jerseys when he was beefing with Kanye.
Wow.
So like to me, like why is Drake and his 2 boys all wearing Chris Paul jerseys, different jerseys, and this was the middle of his beef? So I trust that photo of @rap on Twitter over anything somebody's saying to somebody on TMZ, personally. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. Who's denying it to TMZ? The whole Kardashian family?
Of course, which is like whatever.
Yeah.
A source close to the situation tells us the allegation is absolutely false and just an example of a desperate man trying to shift his wrongdoings onto Kim. The source says this is not true, and sadly, it's an ongoing pattern of Kanye attacking Kim to redirect everyone's attention after a day of crazy antics where he said every hateful and offensive thing he can possibly dream of. So, yeah, that does nothing to me. Now, does a picture of Drake when he's beefing with Kanye wearing a Chris Paul jersey mean something to me? Yeah, it does. Also, I learned in that article, he is giving her child support, which is wild to me.
Yeah.
So they settled. She gets $200,000 a month in child support.
That's nuts.
Like, why? She might have more money than him at this point.
Like, no, she doesn't. But just even $2.4 million a year in child support. How much support do your kids need?
I mean, seriously. Let's see what BSO has to say.
I can't believe this wasn't your first look. You're like the place we all go for our news, TMZ.
Oh, this is good cash. And this is his tweet from 3 hours ago. Kim Kardashian addresses if like a good neighbor, Chris Paul with their. Hold on, let me read it slower. This is the tweet from Black Sports Online. Robert Littau. Kim Kardashian addresses if like a good neighbor, Chris Paul with their for her when Kanye wasn't around, and if Ye caught her and CP3 running the pick and roll in his bed, parentheses, deleted tweet pics. So he's letting the world know, because Kanye got suspended, it's a deleted tweet. It's a pretty good caption.
It's insanity.
It's a great caption. I don't see anything. Oh, he's got the Twitter reacts. Scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being Chris Paul banged Kim K and 1 being no way in hell. Where are you at?
7.
I like it. I'm a 7 or 8. I'll say 8. That Drake and his boys wearing, that's all I need. Why were they wearing Chris Paul jerseys?
I just feel like Kanye, first of all, everything we know about Kanye. How many times have we seen Kanye? Kanye's not Jay-Z. Kanye's not like sitting courtside at the Garden. Kanye, as far as I know, not even like a hoops fan. If he's just going to make up a random person, Well,
also to me, Chris Paul's a random guy,
But also the Suns, yeah. Booker was dating one of the other ones.
I think he still might be. Is he?
I don't know. I think they might be broken up.
You ever seen a family love NBA players as much as all them? Like, it is fascinating. That is fascinating to me. That'd be like, so I have 4 brothers, right? 5 boys. That'd be like all of us marrying nurses. Like, if you really think about it, it's like you all like the one profession.
No, they all like super duper rich black guys. Also, wasn't one with like a rapper. Wasn't one with like
no. Some of them have dated rappers for sure, but like the through line is like.
Well, I think Kevin Hart's married. Will Smith's married. I think Idris Elba might be married. I mean, what are we talking about here? If you want a super famous, super rich black guy, what pools are you working with?
Canceled.
No, is that cancelable?
I don't know anymore. I think everything is. I think it happened. That's all I know. I think it happened. Now, if he walked in on her and him, even wilder. Because Chris Paul has always played this. He's like a goody two-shoe, right? Like he plays that, even though they say he's kind of dirty on the court, but like, right? I'm just saying, like, if you compare his vibe with other NBA guys, like he's doing State Farm commercials. He doesn't have any tattoos. He doesn't have any tattoos that I know of, right? Does he have any tattoos?
I don't know.
I'm saying he's a very buttoned up, in my opinion, guy. And apparently he's banging Kim Kardashian. I don't know. I wonder what Chris Humphries thinks about all this. We should try to bring him on the show. What's he up to these days?
I think
isn't it crazy? I thought about that the other day. I'm like, dude, she was married to Chris Humphries. That's all they could get at the time.
Yeah. That was when she was just like that. That was when it was just like reality show shit. Now she's, selling people Spanx and diet pills and makeup and whatever. Now she's a brand.
It's nuts.
But listen, Kanye upped her profile huge. Like it's like huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, another TMZ random news. We'll get this out of the way right now. John Kitna's kid was arrested. He's a Florida backup quarterback for child porn. Jalen Kitna, he's now been kicked off the team. Did you see this?
I did.
Possession of porn. I love his defense. Did you see his defense?
No.
He said he remembered sharing the two images, but believed them to be legal since he found them online. It's always a good defense.
Did he get arrested for like two images of like two borderline whatevers? Because usually when you get like arrested for child porn, you got like servers full of naked kids.
Yeah, well, that's mugshot, not good. So let me scroll through. Sorry. Come on, give me the arrest. So like I said, he was dismissed. So he's I'm not seeing exactly. I'm not seeing exactly what, that's two images, but yeah, I don't see anything else. I just watched him play, which is funny. Like I had the Florida State.
Was he their starter?
No, he was the backup. He was young. Okay. He was 19. But the guy got injured the other. I had it on. I was like folding laundry, and I had like Florida State on, just like background. And he got in, and I didn't know. I was like, oh, Kitna's kid. I didn't know he played. Now, Kitna was a big look. I'm not saying it's Kitna's fault. Kitna was a big Jesus guy, though.
Yeah.
I think he was like a preacher. Could I be wrong in that? I know he was a gym teacher.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But like he was a big Jesus guy, wasn't he?
If you say so. I mean, I tend to believe that those guys will be like, when in doubt, if you were like, yeah, he was a big Jesus guy, I'm like, okay, if you say so.
Yeah. I can't see exactly how many pictures. I don't know. Anyway, the rumor is the Cowboys are going to sign him. He's an emergency quarterback.
Yeah.
Jalen Kitna is going to be the emergency quarterback.
He's going to be warming up on the sidelines with Odell by the end of the weekend.
Is Odell going to go to Dallas?
I feel like that's what this whole thing's about, but I could be wrong. because he supposedly met with the Giants, and then he like did this whole press conference after, like, I just want to win, I want to whatever. I feel like he went to the Giants so that he could go to the Cowboys and not pretend he didn't give them a shot.
How would that make you feel? Just the Cowboys.
Well, it would make me feel terrible because I'm such an Odell fan, and I root for him wherever he goes. But I wouldn't want to root for him on the Cowboys. I'd want to root for him on the Bills. I'd really want to root for him anywhere but an NFC East team. I'd even root for him on the Patriots. You know what I mean? But no, it would hurt because I'm an Odell guy. But you can't root for him to play well.
Yeah. I know. Well, another wide receiver news. Antonio Brown. I don't know what's actually happening. Yesterday, there was tweets saying that he had a standoff.
He was in an armed standoff, and then no tweets following that up. Like,
no
that
tweets.
situation's been resolved.
No tweets. An armed situation with the cops. Now the main story is just I Googled that. I couldn't find any updates. Now it's just an arrest warrant was issued over domestic battery. I mean, is he full-blown CTE?
Yes.
Like Antonio Brown, is he the poster? Are him and Aaron Hernandez the poster children for like the worst in OJ? Like, is that my Mount Rushmore of CTE?
And then there's all the people that killed themselves because
that's what I'm saying. You got guys like Junior Seau, who killed themselves. But I mean, as far as like, not people who commit suicide, more people who just lose their mind post-career.
Yeah.
There's your podcast, by the way. There's your podcast.
There's what?
There's your new podcast.
Antonio Brown and
OJ.
Oh, there you go. They could have Kanye on to talk about.
I was just going to say, throw in Kanye. He has some sort of CTE, some sort of thing going on. Imagine those three having a conversation. Hey, it's your friend OJ.
Yeah. It's your good friend OJ. I'm here with my good friend Antonio Brown and my good friend Kanye.
Raise your hand if you want to murder your wife, but you never did. And it's like, OJ, come on. What are we talking about here?
Oh man, let's check in on OJ. I miss OJ.
Donald Trump be like, there he is, great guys on this podcast, all titans of their industry.
OJ tweeted yesterday, great weekend of football coming. Let's see what OJ has to say on Twitter.
Hey, Twitter world, it's me, yours
Hey,
truly.
Twitter world.
Boy, do we have some football coming this weekend, huh? Starting tonight with my Buffalo Bills going against New England. One thing I know about New England, Belichick is to try to run the ball at the Bills, and I'm hoping the Bills try to run the ball at least more than they have in the past with their halfbacks at New England. You know, this weekend I ran into Terrell Davis, and Terrell and I got to talking about our 2,000-yard seasons. And
Well, by the way, can you imagine? I'm a positive.
I ran into Terrell Davis at the 2000ers club. We talked about our 2,000-yard season.
Terrell Davis, again, just sitting at home, like making a turkey sandwich. Like, this motherfucker's bringing me into his
Yeah. Terrell Davis is like getting his braces tightened when he hears what? Getting new rubber bands put on his braces.
How long has Terrell Davis had braces, man? I think he's an NFL Network analyst. But like, if I'm Terrell Davis, I'm like, leave my name out your fucking mouth. Leave it out of my brace-induced mouth. Leave it out of your mouth too. Let's see what this interaction had to be like.
the runners a day and who will be the next 2,000-yard guy. And one thing we kind of laughed about is how some of the runners today, even our favorites like Elliott and Chubb, after a couple of effort runs in a row, how they raise their hands up to come off the field, even when they're in the red zone. I said, I would have, Terrell, I would have never done that. He said he would have never done that, especially in the red zone. I said,
okay, let's play a quick game of OJ. OJ Simpson, did this or did this not happen? Joe, did any of this conversation happen?
No.
None of it. You don't think they talked at all?
I mean, where is he seeing Terrell Davis?
2000ers Club. It's like those two, Eric Dickerson. I mean, who else is alive in that?
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson.
Chris Johnson.
Yeah, good one there.
I understand it, though. Sometimes you get tired and you might fumble, and a lot of teams are tackling the football now.
But take it from me, a guy who had enough energy to murder his wife and a waiter, still run home, pack for Chicago, leave for Chicago, and call a Notre Dame game. That back in my day, you didn't ask for relief. You didn't put your hand up midway through stabbing somebody to death and say, help me out, son. Unless, of course, you're one of those people that believe my son was also there, which is part of the theories. I just had him watching, though. He was my lookout. Unlike the Zeke Elliott's and the Saquon Barkleys, the runners I do like, unlike them, you'll never see me put up my hand and say, can I have done your mother and the waiter? Will you help me out with the next person? No, I did it all myself.
OJ said tackling the football, and like he's explaining football at this point.
I see it with the Bills. If you look at some of these red zone interceptions that Josh Allen has thrown, most of them have come after some hell of efforts, running efforts to get first downs in the fourth quarter. And, when you get tired, you make poor decisions. And I think he threw some passes that normally he would not throw. And I think a lot of that had to do with a little bit of fatigue. They can help him. It's easy. Just start running the halfbacks in the second half, especially when you got a 2-touchdown lead. Now, I got USC playing Utah, the only team that has beaten them.
So he said great football of weekend coming. And this is like, maybe you shouldn't have a podcast. Yeah. This is the worst analysis ever. I thought you
take it from me. When you get tired is when you make bad decisions. It was only after I stabbed somebody 60 times that I realized I should not drip blood all the way down the hallway behind Kato's house. Had that blood not, there wouldn't have even been a trial. But I was tired. I still had to pack. It was late. And that is why behind Kato's cottage became the red zone, red with my blood, as I dribbled it all the way. Had I not been so tired, I would have probably gotten a handkerchief, wrapped up my hand, put it in a pocket so as not to dribble my DNA all the way across the neighborhood of Brentwood, down San Vicente, through Bundy Drive. I had to cross Greta Green Lane at one point, blood everywhere, because I was tired.
Oh, man. The gift that just keeps on giving. OJ.
Honestly, probably one of the worst decisions I ever made when I was tired was letting an unemployed actor live in I'm OJ. Why am I even having somebody live in my guest house? I didn't need the money. He caught me one day, though, after I was practicing in the garage, stabbing a cardboard cutout that looked like Nicole. And he got me when I was tired. He came in. He said, any chance you're renting your pool house? And I was tired, and I made a red zone faux pas.
Remember when Kato was doing stand-up?
I'm surprised he's not headlining still.
Were you ever on a show with Kato Kaelin?
No.
You know where he popped in once. This isn't going to surprise you. How do you spell Kato? Is it C-A or C or K?
K-A.
He popped in on the Hostel show.
No.
Dude, I swear to God. This is when Filipowski was running it. Because he knew him, of course. So
Filipowski's like, you got to come tonight, dude. It's going to be crazy. Screech is going to be there. Kato's going to be there. I've heard Jeremy Piven from Entourage is getting in the game. What was Willis's name from Different Strokes? He's going to come by and run some stuff for the people who don't speak English.
he
Skippy from Family Ties.
he pops in and I don't know, this is like 2010. And he pops into the Hostel. I was hosting the show. And I bring him up to do jokes, and he was doing OJ jokes. 2010. he was, dude. Think about this. He was doing jokes to foreigners who were like 21, 22. This is probably again like 2010. Who they don't have any clue who this guy is. Dude, the murders happened in 94.
He's like, knock, knock. Who's there? Not OJ. I didn't see shit. What?
Dude, he did like I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes of jokes, and it was all OJ shit. And I was like, dude, you talk about just squeezing 15 minutes of fame. Like, dude, you're 16 years removed. I just pulled up his Twitter. It says, former house guest, current adult, living behind my own house. Find me on Cameo. That's what we got going on. What does Kato Kaelin charge for a Cameo? Take a guess.
$129.99.
$60 for a personal video.
Wow. That's pretty good.
$650 for a business video. $180 for a live video call. What do you charge, Joe? We'll plug your Cameo. What do you charge?
I don't know. Look it up. $39.99 or something like that.
You don't even know what you charge?
I don't know what I charge anymore.
So you charge $33 for a personalized
33
video.
There you go. For a personalized video. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm halfway to Kato.
What is a business video?
I don't know. Do I even have a business price set?
You do. $105.
No, I didn't know that. I think they might just triple it for you or something like that.
Yeah. Anyway. So glad we're going down these rabbit holes when you're like, I feel very ill. And I'm like, let's talk about OJ and Kato Kaelin.
Let's talk about OJ.
Well, when you feel better, I know you'll have some cold Miller Lights, because I am positive you have some sitting in your fridge, and hopefully by Sunday you can relax and have a cold beer to kind of liven your spirits, you know?
I think I absolutely will. You know, this is I got some body aches, I got some headaches, I got a fever. Nothing that can't be cured with a little Miller Lite.
Yeah. Make you feel better. And now is the time to get your Miller Lite ready for this holiday season, guys. We all know you're going to be spending time with family, work parties. All those things are great times to have the Miller Lite flowing. Since 1975, Miller Lite has been the beer with taste you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just great beer. And they even have an amazing holiday gift shop. I don't know if that's technically what it is. I'm going to call it that. They have a great shop of Miller Lite ideas over at shop.millerlite.com.
Dude, there's so many great pieces of Miller Lite merch. I keep seeing them, and the one that gets me every time is the one with the 2 clinking cans of Miller Lite at the top of a crew neck sweatshirt. It looks so dope.
Yeah, I will reach out and see if we can get those, get some of those for you. because I know how much you want those. So head on over. They have beer ornaments, like you mentioned last week.
Yes.
It's an ornament, and then you open it and you drink it as a beer. So
and that way it's light enough to then hang on the tree after.
Correct. So some great stuff that they have over there. And go ahead and check that out. Sorry. All right. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you, or you can give the gift of Miller time this holiday season. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell them. I think I completely butchered that, didn't I?
It's okay, Andy. Everybody knows you're doing the best that you can.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Let's get through this. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. 'Tis Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. I normally do better, Joe. I normally do better.
Proud of you, buddy.
So we started on our picks last night because there was a game. You gained a pick on me.
Yeah.
So we agreed. Go. You took the Bills at -4. I took the Patriots. The Patriots decided to, I don't know, just not call a good game offensively. Because like defensively, I thought they held their own for them. I mean, you know,
yeah, they did decent defensively. It's just they just don't have any weapons, and again, their quarterback situation is mediocre at best right now. I mean, Mac Jones, he's just not great. He was under a lot of pressure. He didn't seem to be dealing with the pressure fantastically, and as you saw, the stat at the end of the game, they're now 6-0 when they score more than 17 points, and 0-6 when they score less than 17 points. So. They are
that would be most teams, though, right? As far as
I mean, I don't know if 17's the number, but
you're right.
I mean, for most teams, but also, yeah, you look at it, it's just like every team is going to have a game where they, have a shootout and win, or play a close one and lose, whatever. But the Patriots are right there, 17 points, 6-0 if they can get to 17 points, 0-6 if they can't.
Well, they're not going to make the playoffs, I don't think. I think like that was one of those games you got to win. They're just going to have to go on a run. Basically, I'm saying I don't know if the Patriots can win 4 of their next 5. I think they got to do something like that.
Right. Because, I mean, you have Baltimore and Cincy. You're figuring both of them will be in.
Correct.
And then you have
the Jets at 7-4.
The Dolphins and Bills, who are both, one of those teams wins the East, one of those teams is in for sure. And so that leaves you with one spot, and that spot is either the Jets or the Chargers or the Patriots.
Yeah. No, and for sure.
I mean, the Jets are 7-4. The Pats are 6-6. So, they have a chance this weekend to pull away a little bit. And then of course the Chargers, they're going to be tough as well. Obviously, they have their coaching debacle to deal with.
That play Josh Allen made where he looked like he was going to go out of bounds, man. Just unbelievable.
It was unbelievable, but it was wild that those guys, everybody stopped playing. I mean, obviously there was a penalty, so that ball, even if it's picked off, it doesn't matter. But damn, if those guys don't stop playing, it seems like he throws it right to somebody.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm still like the Bills. I don't know. The Bills to me, and they were my team to win the Super Bowl. I think I might have picked them 2 years in a row. I don't know. Like right now, I don't know how confident I feel about them.
You feel more confident in the Chiefs, obviously.
Maybe the Bengals too,
and not the Dolphins.
No, I had a great back and forth on Twitter in DMs with the dirtball who's a big Dolphins guy, and he's like, and it's fair. Whatever.
Was it Mac, and was the back and forth? You owe us $1,000.
No, it was not Mac. I wish. Good reminder though. Seriously, Mac, pay us. It was about, just me not giving Tua enough credit. And, you always say you have to admit when you're wrong. You're not admitting when you're wrong. And you said he sucks. And I don't remember. Maybe I did say he sucked in the past. He obviously doesn't suck. But my thing about Tua, and I'll kind of reiterate what I told the Dirtball, is what I said to him. And I think this is a fair bet. I said, let's make a friendly bet. And it didn't have to be much money. It could have just been a gentleman's bet. I don't really care. I said, because Burrow was kind of brought into the conversation. And I said, look, man, I'll bet you Burrow has 3 playoff wins right now. I said, I'll bet you Tua does not have 3 playoff wins before the start of the 2025 season. So I said, I'm giving you 2 seasons to win 3 playoff games, 2 more. I said, I just don't think it happens. And I was like, for me, at the end of the day, on all this talk of all these guys, I think not only does playoffs matter, obviously who you're playing with and who's coaching you, right? All those things factor when we're deciding how good these quarterbacks are. And I also said, look, man, obviously I'm a Burrow stan, but I said last week is a prime example. Burrow was without his top receiver and his top running back. I said, how well is Tua doing on the road against the Titans without wide receiver 1 and RB1? I don't think he's doing what Burrow's doing. I think
that conversation is just something that a Dolphins fan is talking themselves into. I don't think Tua is close to Burrow.
I agree.
But I think that's maybe even overreaching what you've kind of got it like to me. And I said it last episode and I said, I'm starting to believe in this Dolphins team. And to me, again, it really doesn't have that much to do with Tua, other than it seems like Tua can be good when surrounded with great players. I mean, they went out and they got him, Tyreek Hill. And I've talked about it before. It's like, look back at those years when he didn't have the weapons that he has now. And what was he doing? It was question mark, question mark, question mark. Meanwhile, the great quarterbacks of all time, they've produced regardless of who's on the other side, who's what receivers they have, at least when they're like up and coming and in their prime. Like, yeah, you can say this guy didn't have enough weapons in his aging years, but I'm talking about guys come in the league and they produce regardless. Herbert's not been incredible in terms of winning playoff games so far, but he has produced. And yeah, he's had a couple good receivers, but like he came into the league as whatever overall pick right behind Tua. And, he's produced, he's thrown for 4,500 plus yards in every season that he's had.
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm starting to believe in this Dolphins team. And I said it last episode, which is this week, you're going to get your chance to prove a lot against one of the best defense in football on the road.
Sure. I agree. And if he plays well, obviously
to me, the question mark about Tua is Tua good enough if his team is good enough around him to win a Super Bowl, which is, I don't know. I don't know right now. I used to say no. Now I'm saying I don't know. Is Tua an elite quarterback in the NFL compared to the other guys I think are elite? No, not even close in my opinion. But that's really neither here nor there.
Okay, let's just say this season, and then we'll hop into our picks. Let's say this season right now, because this is where this conversation that I had with Dirtball Damon, this is where it went. I said, look, I'll read verbatim what I wrote. I said, he's a top 10 QB in 2022. He's having a nice season when healthy, but a win against the Ravens and Bills in September/October really means nothing to me. And that's where I agree with you. This is playoff type football atmosphere on the road against San Francisco, the number 1 ranked points per game defense in the entire league. So this like, you know what I'm saying? Like those wins in September, they don't mean shit to me. I don't know. They just don't. What can you do? And I think that's fair. I mean, if we're talking
to me, the question, it seems like everybody's having a different conversation about Tua. And it's like, to me, the question of is Tua in the Mahomes, Joe Burrow like the class of quarterback, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I mean, in the last
Justin
couple of years,
Herbert.
Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Justin Herbert, okay, like you can argue whatever, but it's like, to me, no, he's not in that class. And the fact that he's done it for 10 games or whatever so far, it's like, well, why are we even having this discussion? Why don't we have a discussion about him having done it for 30 games so far? And if he was elite, why didn't he show it the second he showed up to the NFL? The way all of the truly great elite quarterbacks do, not always necessarily in wins and losses, but no one thought when Peyton Manning won 4 games and led the league in interceptions that he wasn't an elite quarterback sort of out of the gate.
Sure. No, I agree. 100%. All right, so let's pull up the picks. So now you're down 4 after last night's W. So we have Steelers Falcons in Atlanta. Line is currently even, Joe.
Well, you asked me last night, and I gave you the Bills. So you're
so
gonna
I was gonna say it's only fair. This is a tough one. Obviously, the Steelers burned me because the Colts just couldn't do anything. Steelers are here's the thing about the Steelers. They're still going to continue to play hard. That's a Tomlin. Like, they're not going to give up, and they haven't, even though they started 3-7. They're not going to give up. An even game here. It's at home. Mariota, just that interception absolutely killed me last week. Like, that interception at the end. I don't trust Atlanta. They started so hot against the spread. I believe they started 6-0 against the spread.
Yeah.
But back and forth, even. So we're just picking a winner. I'm gonna stick with the Steelers.
It's a home game for the Steelers.
A home game for Atlanta.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna take Atlanta then. I've said it before on this show, and it's like people were so quick to sell on Kenny Pickett. I like Kenny Pickett. I believed in that game, but I think that this is what this Steelers team is going to do now. They're going to have the back and forth weeks. The fact that it's in Atlanta and it's a pick, I'm gonna go with the Falcons to win the game.
Okay, wow, it's a game I don't like. Excuse me, I don't like that at all. But yeah, could be another L for me. Okay, moving right along. Packers Bears in Chicago. Packers are 3-point favorites. I do not know the quarterback situation.
We don't know who's playing quarterback, and we also don't know
for either team.
Yeah. Correct?
Let me pull it up. See what we got here.
Well, it kind of doesn't matter for me because I think I like the Packers -3 if Rodgers or Love is playing, and I guess I like them. I guess the only one I don't love is if Love is playing Fields, but Rodgers or Love against Trevor Siemian, I'll take the -3, and I will. Yeah, I'll take the Packers.
Looks like Rodgers against Fields, just so you know.
Okay, great.
So you're going to take the Packers.
I am.
I am going to agree. So Rodgers back. I'm going to take the Pack. All right, Jags Lions in Detroit. Ooh, God, this is where it starts getting tough to pick. All right, I am up. The Lions are a 1-point fave against the Jags. Huge win for the Jags last week. Can they build upon that? I'm going to say no. Again, another game I don't like. I'm going to go with the Lions, though, to win and cover at -1.
I'm going to take the Jaguars for a couple of reasons. One, I think we had the moment for the Lions. Like, everybody was on the Lions prior to the year starting. We talked, think about how many calls we took and all the things. Everybody loved Lions. And then the Lions came out. They shit the bed. The only people that didn't bail were Lions Reddit. They won those 3 games in a row. And everybody's like, here, see, we had it. We got things. And it's just now, to me, the wheels start to come off. They play a close game on Thanksgiving. They celebrate. Lions fans celebrate as if it's a fucking, moral victory, right? Moral victories are for minor league coaches. So our boy Jay-Z said, I'm going to go with the Jaguars to win the game.
Wow. Okay. Man, lots of, last week we had 8 different picks and we split. I don't know if this is part of your strategy. But looks like we're going to have a lot of different picks this week. Okay. Jets at the Vikings. Big win for the Vikes last week. They're 3-point faves. While you think about that in your pick, I'm going to play a call we have about Justin Jefferson.
Joe, Andy, I'm starting episode 888 here. This is Nick from Iowa. I couldn't finish the episode without calling because I could not believe you guys didn't mention Justin Jefferson in the MVP conversation. His 2022 stats, 81 receptions for 1,232 yards, averaging 15.2 yards a catch and 5 touchdowns. I think you guys need to evaluate your top 3 there and give Justin Jefferson some love, because without him, I don't think the Vikings would be anything right now. Let me know what you think. Peace out.
Well, let me start off. You're out of your mind, first of all. Much love. Appreciate the call. But so he doesn't even lead the NFL, and I know it's just 1 yard, but he doesn't lead the NFL in yards or receptions, and he only has 5 touchdowns. So like last year, Cooper Kupp won the Triple Crown, led the league in yards, receptions, and touchdowns, and he didn't get MVP. So what are we talking about here, man?
I always look at the MVP conversation from 2 different angles. The legit definition of the term, most valuable player, to which Justin Jefferson would probably be somewhere in the, I don't know, top, let's call it top 25, maybe top 30. Almost every single team that has more than 2 wins or 3 wins, their quarterback is more valuable to their team than any given wide receiver. So there's that. Then there's the fact that the actual award, as it's given out in the NFL and the NBA and a lot of other sports these days, isn't based on that determination, and is based on usually how good a team is, how they're winning, blah, 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 blah. So the fact that 2 teams in the Chiefs and the Bills are also in the same sort of win-loss columns that the Vikings are, and Jalen Hurts, who has more wins than the Vikings have, I just don't think that he sniffs the award.
Yeah, he doesn't sniff it. 13 more. There are 13 players who are wide receiver / tight end who have more touchdowns than him. 13. Like, look, Justin Jefferson's amazing. Don't get me wrong. He's phenomenal. And again, that's one of the best trades of all time for both sides. I mean, he doesn't even, like Mark Morris, he doesn't even sniff the MVP. Doesn't even sniff it. You have to lead the league in receptions, yards, and touchdowns.
Or yards and touchdowns, or receptions and yards, or receptions and touchdowns. Like, 2 out of the 3 of those ain't bad. If you're a league leading receiver in 2 out of 3, there's a lot of guys throughout the years who big receptions guy, big yards guys, that they, for some reason, they don't get the ball down at the end zone. There's also big touchdown guys, the Randy Mosses, big play receivers over the years, big plays, big yardages, but they do it all on less catches. But again, Cooper Kupp last year led the league in all 3. All 3.
Yeah. So Jerry Rice had one MVP?
Yeah, probably.
1987. He had 22 touchdowns. I'm just saying, like, is that accurate?
Well, Jerry Rice definitely didn't win 2 MVPs.
Let me see. Let me see. Did he win any MVPs? No, he did not. There's all you need to know. I was incorrect. He was Offensive Player of the Year that year.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice never won an MVP. He was Offensive Player of the Year and he had 22 touchdowns. And the other year, yeah, actually, this is great context. The other year, he finished second in the MVP that year, Joe. The other year that he was Offensive Player of the Year was 93. And he led the league in yards and touchdowns and yards per game. And he was third in the MVP voting. Like, I like, dude, you got to just put up monster numbers. You just have to. Now let's get to the game. Jets, Vikings, you're up. The Vikes are a 3-point fave at home. This is another tough one.
J-E-T-S. Jets. Forget Zach Wilson. Forget Mike White. Forget all of the things. Jets play defense.
They do.
Kirk Cousins, do not likey. Me no likey. The idea that I would pick Kirk Cousins in a game versus a team that plays defense, that has a good defensive line. No. Sorry. I won't be doing it.
Well, I went against the Vikings last week and it burned me.
So go with the Vikings this week.
Hold on. But I also think the Patriots defense was, I think I was still like in the past thinking about that defense. I can't do it 2 weeks ago. I agree with you. I think the defense, they're so good. In fact, let's hop over to Prize Picks, which Dirtball should know at this point is our daily fantasy sponsor. Download Prize Picks today and play daily fantasy sports with us. Make sure you use promo code DIRTY when you sign up. Please do that. All first-time users that deposit and use promo code DIRTY will receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. So if you deposit 100, Prize Picks will give you 100. And again, these are just projections. You are playing against the projections. It's a lot of fun. NFL, NBA, NHL, college football, college basketball, you name it. I want to see what Prize Picks has to say about Kirk Cousins. They have more or less 255.5 passing yards. I'm going to say less. I think this is a defensive game. Now, conversely, I feel like Mike White's passing yards might be a little too high. They have 238.5.
Yeah, probably.
I know he had a good game last week, but I don't know. So it looks like less for both Mike White and Kirk Cousins is what we're projecting.
Yep.
And we both are going to take the Jets to cover. All right. Next up, Commanders against your Giants. Commanders, I believe it won 6 of 7.
Yes.
It's in
New York.
In East Rutherford, New Jersey. So, at some point this has to end. They burned me last week, the Commanders. I don't think they're going to burn me this week. I think the Giants need to bounce back. They need that win. I think they end that streak, and I think the Giants win.
What is the spread?
-2 Washington.
Okay. I'm with you. Everybody, the rats are scurrying off the Giants ship. Everybody, and I'm saying that because you're all rats. Everybody is so quick to scurry away from a Giants team that no one had even here in the first place. Oh, they're bubbled. They're playing over their heads. They're not good. They're the worst They started out with they're the worst 2-win team in football. They're the worst 3-win team in football. They're the worst 4-win team in football. And the bottom line is the Giants are well coached.
Yeah.
The Giants have had injuries galore. I predicted the Giants would lose to that fucking Lions team because that's something the Giants do. This Washington team has, figured something out and are in a playoff push. But at this point, I know that like myself, Brian Daboll and the Giants are like, let's just get in the playoffs. Man, that's a great place to start. And they do that if they don't get swept by the Commanders in this 2-game series in the next 3 weeks. I think the Giants win the one at home for starters. And listen, I could see this game being very close, and I could see it going either way on a kick at the end. But the idea that the Giants have all of these injuries and play even as well against the Cowboys as they did for a half or 3 quarters tells me that they're going to show up ready to play every game, not to mention, okay, and I really do. This is the first time in I don't know how long that I believed in our actual coaching staff. But the Giants are on a long week. They played last Thursday.
Yeah. I expect some bad turnovers from Heineke. That's my prediction. Some bad fumble.
I could see this being a gross 10-7 football game, a 13-10 football game, a 16-13 football game. I could see, the Giants scoring 1 touchdown and kicking fucking 3 field goals. Kick 6 field goals, whatever it is, All
right. Titans, Eagles. Titans need to bounce back. You're up first. I already know exactly when I saw this one, what I'm doing. Eagles are 4.5-point favorites at home against the Titans.
Okay. Let me look at this. I made some notes on this game. What did I have it at? I'm up first, you said, right?
Yeah.
Just want to see. Has this line changed at all? It hasn't, right? Yeah, it has. It came down a little. It was 5.5 when I first started making my notes. Listen, to me, I feel like the Titans could win this game. I know we've been saying that. How many times have we gotten burnt? I don't know about you, but how many times have I gotten burnt on saying this is the week I could see the Eagles losing this week? Now, I did happen to say it against the Commanders team, so I got the one right. They're obviously, that's.
Well, it sounds like we're both going to go Titans, right?
Yeah, we're going to go Titans. I just think that the Titans keep it close. I wouldn't be surprised they win. It's going to be a run the ball game. It's going to be a run the ball game.
It'll be ugly.
I like Vrabel. I think that the Titans have a bounce back game after the last week. I like Titans. I liked it more when it was 5.5, but I think that at least the Titans could keep it within. You've got it at 4.5, right?
Correct.
So yeah, I mean, even a Eagles field goal to win it, we cover.
Yeah, I think the Titans. I think they're ready to play. I wouldn't be surprised if they win at all. In fact, I would be. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a really good game. All right, Broncos Ravens. I know this line has moved. Baltimore's now 9.5-point favorites.
Wow.
So the Broncos offense is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But the Broncos D is they're top 3 scoring defense, like top 3 in the league.
Yeah.
The Ravens offense is not.
They should go out. Good. They should mortgage some of their future. Go get a quarterback this offseason to play well for this defense. Do what you got to do. Give up some first rounders if you got to. Get yourself a quarterback. Oh fuck, that was their plan last year.
I don't think anybody saw that coming though, man.
What? Excuse me? How dare you even say that?
I haven't said. You did not see this. You did not see this.
I didn't see this, but
I'm saying no one saw this.
No one saw this, but I saw basically this. I mean, I fucking tweeted it. I said Russell Wilson goes from being the second best quarterback in his own division to the third best quarterback in his own division. And you're right. You're right. I didn't see this
but that's not. I agree.
I should have said
fourth,
Joe. I should have said fourth.
I agreed with you
Derek
there.
Carr is better than Russell Wilson. I should have said fourth. I wanted to say fourth. I should have nutted up and said fourth. I wanted to.
So I saw this on Freezing Cold Takes. So this is from ESPN. Who won the Russell Wilson trade? This is the day it happened, March 10th. Who won the Russell Wilson trade? NFL experts grade the deal from the Broncos and Seahawks perspective. The overall grade from NFL experts was A, Broncos, D plus Seahawks. I mean, that's one of the coldest takes of all time. That's a freezing cold take. 9.5 is a lot, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm stalling right now as I'm talking this through, just because the Broncos are going to lose. But again, like this Ravens team, they're just not blowing people out. But the other part of me says maybe the Broncos just give up. Maybe they have absolutely nothing to play for. You and I both took the Broncos last week. They got their shit pushed in by Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Make a decision, Andy. I'm going to go Ravens.
I'm also going to go Ravens. The Ravens have not been scoring enough points for me to think that they're very, very good. But I also think that they come home here. They do, they score 24 points, and that's enough to cover because the Broncos score 7.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you're probably right.
Also, if you look at the Ravens are almost like playing better than they've shown and their record. Like they're right there. You know what I mean? They're like, what's the Ravens record right now?
7-4.
Yeah, they're 7-4, and the Bengals are 7-4. Correct?
Yes.
So now we're in a dogfight for this division. I almost think that in a way, the Ravens just the Ravens win games when they play bad. I just think maybe they have a breakout game.
Okay.
I don't think they have a breakout game offensively. I just think they have a breakout game where it all kind of comes together. I'm predicting like a 24-10 Ravens victory.
Yeah, and they'll cover that. All right, Browns Texans.
This is the game, huh?
Watson is back. Playing against his old team. I mean, he didn't play a game in like 2 years.
Yep.
Almost 2 seasons. They're 7-point favorites, the Browns are, against Kyle Allen and the Texans.
I hate to say this because I kind of thought this was an interesting story, that the lawyers for 10 of the women that he assaulted, allegedly, would be bringing them to the game. So the story was he's going to have to be playing in front of 10 of his accusers. I hate to say this because I kind of like that. To me, that's a bold move. You know what I mean? So I hate to say I'm taking the Browns to cover because I think Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns assault the Texans.
Yeah. I mean, they were losing 30-0 last week at halftime. And obviously the Dolphins are much better than the Browns. But 30-0.
Yeah, that killed me. I texted you that morning when I got up. I was like, I have Kyle Allen. When did that happen? Literally every time either one of us is picked on this Texans team, we're like, we're going to ride with Davis Mills. Backdoor Davis. I woke up, I was like, Kyle Allen, why?
And I'd argue, Joe, once again, the NFL PR machine is undefeated. I feel like nobody's talking about this. Maybe I'm missing things. I feel like nobody's talking about. I know it's Houston. I know it's a 1 p.m. game. He's also going against his former team. This is just slids. It's like they were smart enough to be like 11 games. No one's going to care.
Listen, I know there's been a variety of responses to it. I know that you're not a LeBron James guy in anything but on court play. I know you he's a great basketball player, but I know you basically hate everything LeBron does otherwise.
I don't hate him. I just think he's a clown in a lot of areas.
And for him to bring up the Jerry Jones thing was certainly a way of him deflecting from not having to talk about the Kyrie thing, which they were pressing him on. But that being said, the fact that last week a picture came out of Jerry Jones as as part of an anti-integration mob, and we talked about it for all of 30. Like, you and I were the only people that talked about it, and you and I talked about it for 1 minute. This is all the proof.
I led the show with that.
I know, but I'm saying the fact that you and I are the only people who talked about it is proof that the NFL PR machine is undefeated and remains undefeated.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody's talking about this.
Daniel Snyder had to sell his team in the NBA. Or what's his name? The guy, why am I mixing
the guy
up?
Phoenix?
No,
or Clippers.
Clippers.
Donald
Sterling. Daniel Snyder, Donald Sterling, pointing Spider-Man meme. Donald Sterling had to sell his team. Jerry Jones are like, you don't even have to talk about it, bro. We got you.
I just think nobody's talking about this. Even I forgot. I was like,
not only is no one talking about it, Odell Beckham Jr. is like, yep, we're on his plan. I'm going to visit them for free. It's like, the NFL doesn't give a fuck.
No. And that's my thing is like, dude, you gotta like, yeah, you just get like, this is what it is. They are the best at it, without a doubt, the best. And I agree. I think you went first. I think the Browns just absolutely destroy them. And I think their running game's so good. Watson's not going to have to do too much. Okay. Seattle, moving on to the later games. Seattle against the Rams. This is always a hard-fought game. It's in LA.
What's the spread?
It's 7-point Seattle favorites. Who's playing quarterback?
Well, not Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, he's out. John Wolford.
Oh, Wolford's back.
I mean, they relatively hung in that game. Dude, I'm going to take the Rams to cover, man.
Wow. Because they hung in the game against
the Chiefs, and I just think 7. Here's my thought process on this. Seattle always struggles. Now, granted, they had Russell Wilson in the past. But I just think now, granted, that stadium's gonna have a lot of Seahawks fans.
Yeah. If this was in Seattle, it'd be a no-brainer.
I don't know. Dude, here's the thing again, and you saw it last week. That Rams defense again. Like they're gonna be tough in the red zone. And that's what I'm banking on. It's like you still have star power, legit star power defensively. 7 is too much for me.
Man, this is really tough. They don't have Aaron Donald, though, right?
Ooh, wait, that could change. I was about to say they got Aaron Donald, they got Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, you just said they have legit star power defensively. I mean, they do, but I don't believe they have Aaron Donald.
Hold on, that changes a lot because he's a legit game wrecker. Okay, you talk it through. I look it up.
Well,
Donald is out.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you talk it through because I'll say this. I'll talk it out for you, Andy. This is a coin flip game for me with it being 7. I believe when I first looked at the line, it was 7.5. I believe it's come down to 7. That makes me think people are on the Rams. They hung in their last game with Perkins. Now they've got a guy who they won a playoff game with in Seattle against Russell Wilson. Like, I feel like that 7 is really kind of a coin flip for me. I'm tempted to take Seattle because they showed me something offensively last week in that they played in a shootout and they almost won that game. But
Seattle's defense is terrible.
Yeah, Seattle's defense is terrible. But so I'm sort of a coin flip. I'm probably just going to fade you no matter what. If you stick with the Rams, I'll probably just go Seahawks and hope for the best.
Well, now I'm really questioning my pick with Aaron Donald being out. I just think he's so good. I mean, he is. He's a legit, like, MVP candidate on certain seasons. And you take him out of the equation. Okay. Pick is in. I will stick with the Rams.
Okay. Then I'll stick with Seattle. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of hoping you'd flip to the Seahawks and then I could have flipped to the Rams and then I could go in Wooford. We trust, but I'll take the Seahawks. To me, this game, I think, is going to be right around there. I mean, I think if the Seahawks win this game, it's just a matter of how close can the Rams keep it. And yeah, so it's this really just a fade Ruther play on that one.
Yeah, I figured. Okay. Dolphins 49ers. We obviously talked a lot about that. You're up first. The Dolphins are 4-point dogs in San Francisco. I'm going to pull up Prize Picks. Let's see what they think. Oh my goodness. This is a play right here. Tua is at 270.5 passing yards. I'm saying less without a doubt.
200 and what? 70?
It's 270.5.
What's the spread? 4?
It's 4.
I think this is going to be a good game.
I think it will too.
I think this is going to be a really good game. If you made me pick a winner here, I'm going to pick the San Francisco 49ers.
Me too.
If you told me that the spread was 2.5, I think I'd take the Niners. I think the spread being 4 makes me take the Dolphins. Let's go back to the Tua thing. You have a chance to prove something to me this week. And what you have a chance to prove to me this week is that you're a good enough quarterback. You can't prove to me you're an elite quarterback this week. I'm sorry for all the Tua stands out there. You can't prove to me that this week. Not with a 350-yard, 4-touchdown, no interception game. No. What's going to prove to me that you're an elite quarterback is like what Andy was saying. You know, if you come into the playoffs and you go to the AFC Championship game, okay. Now, you could also say, well, then that he proves it to everybody then. And I'm like, yeah, but also we've seen guys make runs before. To me, the first step in the Tua thing is go out and win this game. Go out and win this game ugly. Go out and win this game, whatever. But the fact that it's a 4-point spread, I'm going to take the Dolphins.
Yeah, I agree. 4 is too much. If it was 2.5, I fully am on board. I would have taken the Niners. 4 is too much. I think the Niners win. I think it's close. All right. Big game here in Cincinnati. Chiefs, Bengals. Chiefs are 2-point favorites. Chiefs have lost now twice in the 2022 season to the Bengals. There's a lot of things at play here. This is, by the way, in my opinion, we always talk about Bills Chiefs. I think this Bengals Chiefs rivalry is a fun rivalry that's just now starting to blossom. Mahomes has not beaten Burrow. Now, they've only played twice. I like that, though. The Bengals both times came back from huge deficits. I've gone back and forth. First of all, I don't know why anyone on the Chiefs would be talking trash about the Bengals. Like what's going on this week?
Who's talking trash about the Bengals?
Reed on the Chiefs. The DB, what's his name? Justin Reed. I mean, and then Jamar Chase was like, you want to bet? he didn't even know, which he was alluding to. He was saying how he was alluding to Hayden Hurst, the Bengals tight end, who's had a nice season. He's been a nice security blanket. Nothing gaudy number wise, but a nice security blanket. But anyway, he didn't even know who he was. He said, this is what Justin Reed said. You can pick anybody in this locker room, but I feel like I'm probably the last person you want to talk shit. Or no, that's what Hurst said. I'm sorry. Anyway, Reed was calling Hurst a finesse type of player. He can guard anybody straight up. And then he's running in his mouth. Jamar Chase has absolutely dominated the Chiefs.
And
right?
is Jamar Chase playing this game?
He is playing.
Yeah.
He's dominated. Again, the Chiefs had 2 big leads. I'm saying a lot. Like I could see this game going either way. I just don't see. This is what it boils down to for me. This is a game of odds right now with me. Do the Chiefs lose a third game in such a short amount of time to the Bengals? And I'm saying no. That's what I'm doing right now. I think I am a coin flip on this game. I'm leaning towards the Chiefs to win and cover at -2 simply because they've lost the last 2 and they've blown the last 2 massive leads.
I agree.
Now,
That's my thing. I agree. I think this game, listen, the Bengals absolutely have their opportunity to make themselves Super Bowl contenders once again. They beat the Chiefs for a third time in a calendar year. They, they hold pace with a Ravens team that's expected to win. Absolutely. But the Chiefs also didn't play fantastically well last week against the Rams. I just don't see it. I think it is a game that could go either way, win-wise, but also if you made me pick a winner, I'm going to pick the Chiefs. And if it's a 2-point game, then what am I really picking?
Exactly.
I'm not really factoring in the spread at all. Okay, so this game comes down to a field goal at the buzzer. Chiefs win. Okay. Now that being said, it could be a 1-point game, but there's just not enough wiggle room here for me to say I'm going to pick the Bengals to cover, thinking that the Chiefs are going to win, which I did.
And I'm the same way.
4.5, 3.5. Okay.
Yeah. Different story. I agree. Not at -2. And if the Bengals do win this game, man, they definitely not only that, think about it. If the Bengals win this game, that'll be the Chiefs' 3rd loss. And the Bengals would own that tiebreaker. Like here's what the Bengals are doing a lot of favors for themselves, which they could do down the end. They beat the Titans head-to-head, right? So they're going to own that tiebreaker if it came down to seeding. They still have to play the Bills. So it's like those 3 teams, you can own tiebreakers, which could really be huge at the end here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're both going with the Chiefs, though. All right, you're up. Chargers, Raiders in Las Vegas. The Raiders are 1-point favorites.
The Raiders are 1-point favorites?
Correct. They're tough at home, though, man.
They are tough at home. Let me just pull something up here. You sure you have the Raiders are 1-point favorites?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take the Chargers then. I just don't know how the Raiders are favored in this game.
Well, I'm going to take the Chargers too. This is a must-win game for the Chargers. So I think they make it work. All right, Monday Night Football.
I would have put that road game. If you had said guess the line for this game, I would have said Chargers -2 on the road in whatever. I think they're a better team with worse coaching, arguably, because their coach is dog shit. I think that the Chargers should be favored in this game. The fact that they're not makes me say, so does somebody know something I don't? Has the line flipped? But I'm going to stick with the Chargers.
Yeah. All right. Sunday Night Football. God damn, we get the Colts again in prime time. Colts at Cowboys. 10.5-point Cowboys favorites. Colts looked so bad against the Steelers. Am I up first or you?
You are. I just picked the Chargers.
Okay, it's prime time. God, that 0.5 point is killing me, though. I just think the Colts can't do anything offensively. I'm going the Cowboys.
I am as well. I just think that this is the Cowboys are in a spot right now, to me, and I hate to do this to you Cowboys fans, but I've seen this so many times from the Cowboys. The Cowboys are in look great for the rest of the fucking season mode. Lose their first playoff game. They're going to have so many people on board by the end of the year. It's going to be, are the Cowboys actually the best team in the NFC East, even though they lost the NFC East by 3 games mode? And they're not. And they won't. But yeah, I think that they cruise and everybody goes, oh, look at them. Stop. They beat the Vikings. They beat the Giants. They piss on the Colts.
I would argue that this Cowboys team is different because they have a great defense. That'd be my counter to that.
Yeah.
I think this, again, you got guys who can just wreck games like Micah Parsons. But we both think they're going to cover. Okay, Monday Night Football, Saints Bucks in Tampa Bay. Huge game for this awful division. 3.5-point Bucks faves. You're up first for our last pick.
I'm straight up sick of picking the Bucks.
Me too.
The Bucks just keep burning me. 3.5. It was 2.5, maybe 3.5. I mean, the Saints have a fairly good defense.
Why are we doing with this game, by the way? Like I thought the flex, I know they can't flex Monday night.
Yeah, I think they can only flex Sunday night.
You got to get rid of this Colts Cowboys. Why is the Bengals Chiefs not flexed to Sunday night?
I don't think they can flex until next week.
They've already flexed. The Bengals Steelers was supposed to be a Sunday night game. It got flexed out. That was November.
The Bengals Steelers game got flexed out?
Yeah, that was supposed to be a Sunday night game. Remember, because they're in the all white.
Right. Okay.
Got flexed out. Dude, and you talk about Jerry Jones owning the NFL. Here's a prime example. The NFL will not, think about this, guys. The NFL will not flex out. This is what's wrong with the NFL. They will not flex out a Cowboys Colts 10.5 point difference game spread. I can't even talk. They won't flex that out for Bengals Chiefs. You give me one reason why. The only reason is Jerry Jones has such a stranglehold of the NFL.
Bengals Chiefs, Dolphins Niners.
This is what I'm saying. 2 great games. Why are those games not in prime time?
They tried to flex them into prime time, and Jerry Jones showed up with 14 other white boys and stopped them from entering Sunday night. They're like, go the fuck home. We don't want you.
I mean, it's absurd.
Honestly, you should have seen this coming when Jerry Jones didn't let Bengals Chiefs use the same water fountain as him. You can't sit here. Jerry Jones, what a piece of trash. Anyway, I'm taking the Saints.
Oh, so the deadline. Here's what's interesting, Joe. See, and this is what I don't like. The deadline to flex that game out was November 22nd. I'm reading an article on it.
The Colts were really bad before that.
Exactly. And I know the Bengals have won 2 straight since then, and a lot of these teams, and the Niners as well. Come on, though. Come on. That's a stupid ass move by the NFL. Anyway, Bucks Saints 3.5. You forgot one thing. Prime time Andy Dalton is a disaster. I'm
True.
going with the Bucks to win and cover.
Wow.
I mean, is he the worst quarterback in prime time?
Probably. I did forget about that. Fuck.
I'm pulling it up right now. Dude, I mean, the first headline is worst primetime records by QBs starting since Andy Dalton is 6-18 in primetime. He's completed 59.7% of his passes, 29 touchdowns to 20 interceptions.
All right. I fucked it up.
Watch. Dalton's going to have the game of his life. He's going to come back to haunt me. That'll be one, though. If you lose, you're going to be pissed about.
Yeah, I am.
Well, at least you're going to have a buddy on your team. You're going to have Ethan. Oh, Ethan / Jameis 101.
Oh, right.
Out there tweeting. All right. That's our week 13 picks. Looking forward to it. Give us a call. 310-359-8365. Also, leave a review. I opened up the show saying that if you drop a podcast review on Apple or if you rate us on Spotify, I will send you 2 koozies. I got koozies I want to get rid of in the mail. Just leave your Twitter, Instagram handle in that Apple review. And if you do it on Spotify, send me a screenshot of your rating and I'll get you 2 koozies in the mail. Pretty simple. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok, I believe, at The Dirty Sports.
Andy brought up Cameo during the show. Kato Kaelin's on Cameo. I'm on Cameo. I hadn't even thought about it. I randomly push Cameo from time to time, but fuck it. Let's go. I'm going to push my Cameo right now because I don't have anything else to do. I'm literally bedridden once again, this time with a Texas-sized serving of COVID. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the fucking COVID. So if you want me sweaty and disgusting sitting in bed, sending you a Cameo, I'm on Cameo. Otherwise, you can follow all my social media at Joe Prano or my Twitter at Fix Your Life. Probably not going to be a whole lot being posted on there in the coming future because I'm in bed with COVID. Anyway, thank you guys again for all the dirt balls that came out to Texas. Let's make it a thing. I've got shows coming up in, first week of January, via Andy and Randy and the suite at the Bengals game. I'm going to go on to New York. So the first week of January, I'll be doing some shows in New York City. Keep your eyes peeled to joeprano.com for that. Then I will be in Vegas once again at the Comedy Cellar in January. I'll be there the 16th to the 22nd. And then the 27th and 28th of January, I will be at the Dead Crow Comedy Club in Wilmington, North Carolina. Some of you guys saw me there last year with Eddie. Now I'm coming back to headline. And then the first weekend of February, the 3rd and 4th, I'll be in San Francisco for Sketch Fest. So all those dates and more soon to be put on joeprano.com.
All right. That is our show. Get healthy, Prano. We'll be back on here on Monday. Have a great weekend, Dirtballs. And as
always, fuck Texas.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, sorry. You had something you wanted to add.
Yeah. Everything's bigger in Texas, Joe, including the vid.